everyone, today I'm going to be doing a wedding style makeup. So as you can see, I've already done it here, so it's sort of like my perfect wedding makeup, what I would do on a bride if I'm doing their makeup, what I would do on my wedding day. So I'm just sharing all the tips that I have with you if you're doing your own makeup for your own wedding. So if you'd like to see how I create this look, then just keep on watching. Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a wedding style makeup. So as you can see, I've already done it here, so it's sort of like my perfect wedding makeup, what I would do on a bride if I'm doing their makeup, what I would do on my wedding day. So I'm just sharing all the tips that I have with you if you're doing your own makeup for your own wedding. So if you'd like to see how I create this look, then just keep on watching. So I am barefaced. I have done my skincare. Skincare is one of the most important things you need to do before anything. I have used I actually updated my skincare routine a tiny little bit just because I was running out of the products that I showed you in my last video. So I'm now using the Simple Kind Skin Protecting Moisture Cream, just because I picked this up because I was desperate on a product and I knew that this would be fine for my skin because it's very good for sensitive skin and it hasn't really got any nasty products in it, any nasty ingredients in it. And I needed an eye cream because I don't actually have one, so I picked up the Revitalizing Eye Roll-On Eye Cream from Simple again, and it was actually buy one get one free, so I thought, you know, I might as well pick that up. So I put that on about 15 minutes ago. You want to make sure you're not doing it straight after your skincare, like your makeup wise anyway, just because it's probably going to slide everywhere, but don't wait too long because then your skin's probably going to be quite dry again and basically not prepped for your makeup. So for the certain eye look I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be doing my eyes first, just so when I do my foundation at the end, it's not going to, if I did my foundation before, basically I don't want to get any eyeshadow onto the look, so I'm going to be doing my eyes first. So I'm going to have to use an eye base obviously because this is going to need to last all day. So I'm going to be using the Revolution Super Size Conceal and Define Concealer. Looks like this. It is really good. And it's literally only like £7 I think for the big one, and it's £5 for the smaller one, which, you know, I would 100% recommend. My shade is in the shade C1, and I'm literally just going to put that all over my eyelid and up to my eyebrows as well, making sure that it's in that inner corner as well because it can get quite dark there, so we need to conceal that. I'm just using my beauty blender to blend that out. Now I'm sort of just going by of what I would kind of want my makeup to look like on my wedding day. I don't really want any shimmer on the eyes. You can definitely have shimmers, completely up to you, but I feel like if you just have a complete matte eye, then you know that it's not really gonna age. So like when you're looking back on your pictures, you know that, you know, if you had bright shimmer on your eyes, then you probably think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have gone for that, it's a bit too much. But with sort of natural nude makeup, it's never gonna look bad in any of your pictures in like 40 years time. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm just going to be taking some of my powder. This is the Beauty Bakery Flour, and I'm just taking like a brush like this and just make sure that you're setting that, because otherwise it's probably going to be a bit too sticky for your shadow to stick on. Now I am taking my beloved Morphe by James Charles eyeshadow palette. I'm taking this one because it literally has every single colour you can think of. Isn't it just amazing? So it has so many sort of amazing matte colours that you can use, like this really gorgeous nude one that I use quite a lot. Yeah, so it's just perfect for wedding makeup, I think. So we're just going to be focusing on this colour here and tapping off the excess on your brush. I'm just taking one of these fluffy brushes here. This one is, I think it's a Sephora brush, but you can probably pick this similar one up anywhere. And this is just going to be going in the crease, sort of stopping sort of like 3/4 of the way, so you don't want too much darkness in the front of your eye. and you really just don't want too much on your brush. Doesn't matter if you get some down here because we're going to clean it up with some concealer at the end. So just focus in on that and the crease. Don't worry too much about blending it out at the moment. We're just basically putting the colour there. And I'm just going to take that same brush, dip into this colour here, maybe a little bit of that one. Make sure you're tapping off the excess. Putting it in the exact same place as you did, just focusing it a lot more in the crease rather than spreading it out. Don't worry too much if you get it on the lid because we're just going to conceal that anyway. Now at this point we're just going to take a blending brush and then just blend all of those colours together. Try not to go too high on your lid because otherwise it's just going to sort of like blend in with your eyebrow. So yeah, just keeping those shades where they are, just blend it out. Also what really helps is having a mirror here but sort of lifted up a little bit so you can see. If I'm looking like down like this, I can see the whole of my lid and what it looks like from when I'm looking down. If you feel like these edges are a little bit too, well, not blended out, and you feel like it's not really getting anywhere, just use a lighter shade. So I'm just using that nude shade at the top and just blending the colour at the top. Now I'm going to be taking more of a precise brush like this and dipping into those darker shades at the top, and this is going to be focused on the outer corner of the eye, so just in circular motions like this. Again, don't worry too much if it's not blending out as you wish. You can either just dot it on like that and then sort of go in and blend it after. This helps quite a lot, so it gets all the pigment on there and then you can blend out after. So now those colours have been placed down, I'm just going to use a fluffy brush again and just blend those colours out. With this one, you just want to make sure it's staying where it is, obviously just blending the edges. You're getting a makeup artist to do your makeup on the day, which obviously is very common. I would recommend sort of getting a lot of pictures of what you feel like suits you, or even have a test at it yourself, just see if you can do it yourself, what things you like on yourself, what things you don't, and then that'll give the makeup artist a lot more of a look to go for, so then more than likely you'll be able to get the look that you're wanting. I'm just using more of a precise brush again and just dabbing a tiny bit more of those two darker shades again into the outer corner, just because I wanted a little bit more definition. Now I'm going to be taking my concealer that I used all over my eyes and taking a packing brush like this, quite a small one, getting a bit of concealer on that brush and putting that in the first half of my lid. I'm doing this because I want kind of like a cut crease effect on the first part. If you feel like that's a bit too much for you, just skip this step and then you can just put the shadow over top. But for more of you that sort of wear quite a lot of makeup on a daily basis or like going a little bit more extra, then this will be a really good step for you. And I'm just going to be using my finger and I'm literally just going to press on those edges of the concealer, and then this is just going to blend those two colours together. Now I'm going to be taking another packing brush, just using that nude shade there and a tiny bit of the white shade, tapping off the excess and dabbing over where we just applied that concealer. Doing this step is just going to really brighten up your eyes and be really good for pictures, But yeah, it's just going to look really, really beautiful and natural. This step is completely optional, but I'm going to be doing sort of a smoky liner. So I'm going to be using a black shadow and basically lining the top of my lash line and blending that out a tiny little bit. This is really good step for if you're wanting a bit more of a smoky look to your sort of your look, but you don't want that really sort of precise black liner. So I'm just using a liner brush and some of the black shadow in the James Charles palette and just lining my top of my lash line very, very carefully, and just doing quite a small line. Now I'm going to be taking this brush here, putting the tiniest amount of black shadow on there as you can. I just dip that in once and maybe just pat it on the back of your hand. And we're just going to be, I'm just going to pull my eye a little bit taut and just blending that out. So pulling it up the tiniest little bit. Going to add a tiny bit more of the black shade, just dipping it, putting it back onto my hand as well. That is what the liner is looking like now, so it's just a tiny bit more blended than what it obviously was. Sorry, Doris, just realised my dog's underneath my seat. So I'm going to be taking a makeup wipe now, and I'm just going to be wiping underneath my eyes. Make sure you don't wipe too much of that shadow, so just sort of leave about this much here. So it kind of looks like that, because if you take off too much, then obviously you might have to go in and redo some of it and it might not go right. And that is sort of what the eye makeup's looking like now. I am going to do my face makeup now. I know my eyebrows look a bit crazy, but I like doing them after my foundation, otherwise I just get everywhere. So I'm actually going to be taking two primers today. The first one I'm going to be taking is the Porefessional by Benefit. This is purely because of my kind of skin type. I know that my pores are quite large and I get oily throughout the day, so this is just going to help combat both of those things. If you don't have oily skin, you have quite dry skin, I'd probably skip this step and go in with a hydrating one, just so it's not going to cling to any dry patches. I also do want to make sure that I tell you that just try and not use any new products on the day, if you are doing your own makeup anyway, because if that product doesn't work for you, or you break out, or you know, sort of have a reaction to it, that's going to be your wedding day, and you're going to have to look at those pictures and think, oh, I wish I didn't use those, or I wish I sort of knew that that product didn't work for me. So just make sure you're trialing all of the products at least, you know, sort of 3 weeks before your wedding day, to make sure that those products work for you and you actually like them. And next I'm going to be taking the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter primer. I'm taking this because it kind of combats as sort of like a I don't really know, to be honest. They say that it's not got no coverage in, but I just feel like it sort of makes your skin tone a lot more even, and obviously it sort of gives you a bit more glow as well. I've just got that all in my hair. Okay, so for my foundation I'm going to be taking the Morphe the Morphe Full Coverage Foundation in the shades F180 and F250. So I'm sort of between these shades at the moment, but I need to sort of find one in between. They've got so many shades and I couldn't find one that matched me perfectly. So yeah, definitely need to go back in there and have another look. But yeah, I'm just going to mix those two together. That is the foundation done. I look like really crazy right now, but I promise you it will come together. Now for bronzer, I'm going to be taking the Soleil Tan de Chanel bronzer. So this is a cream bronzer. This is going to be amazing for obviously these occasions like weddings and stuff, because it will blend so seamlessly. You will not have those harsh contour lines, and you just want to place this just where you're going to be naturally hitting the sun. So that is obviously on the tops of your cheeks, onto your actual cheekbones, sort of all on your hairline, where you'd be naturally sun-kissed. I'm going to go on your jawline as well. Now I'm going to go with my concealer, so I'm using the Last and Perfection concealer by Collection. This is really good for brightening underneath the eye and all things like that. And I'm not really going to use too much, to be honest, because our foundation is very full coverage. So just putting it right underneath the eye. If your foundation that you're using is a bit more of a lighter coverage, you might want to use a little bit more. Just being really careful with where you place this, so it's not going to go over the eyeshadow of what you had just done there. So I just went off camera and did my eyebrows, because I feel like eyebrows are sort of like a personal thing. You can do them however you want and however you feel comfortable wearing them. This is kind of like my everyday eyebrows, so this is probably what I would go for on my wedding day. So you just want to tap over where you put your concealer before you set this down. I would always recommend setting down your concealer. However sort of dry your skin is, however oily your skin is, this is just going to make sure it stays all day without creasing. So just using that same Beauty Bakery powder and setting that down with more of a dense brush and literally just placing it where I've put the concealer. We are going to eventually set the whole face, so it doesn't matter if you get it anywhere else. I'm just lightly brushing over the rest of my skin, and this is just going to make sure it stays all day. Now we're going with a bit more contour and bronzing, so I'm going to be taking this middle shade first, and we're just going to be doing a tiny bit of contour. I'm just sort of using a bit more of a denser brush, but it's definitely a lot more fluffy than I used the one that I was just doing my powder with. And just placing that sort of halfway sort of down here. You don't want to go any more past your eye, because otherwise that will make you a little bit more sort of like more of a muddy kind of look, rather than the sort of bronzy contouring kind of look you want to go for. And now I'm just going to blend all of the colours together. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit, by the way. And just go over that contour, a little bit more onto your cheeks, onto where we put the Chanel bronzer, tiny bit on your nose, just down onto your chest as well. You don't obviously want to do too much, but you don't want to do too little, because you can look very shapeless if you don't use these products. So that is a really good tip for that. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. It's this beautiful sort of champagne-y colour. And I'm just going to be taking one of these sort of more denser brushes and just popping that onto my cheekbone and a tiny bit onto my cheekbone, and then a tiny bit onto sort of my actual cheeks. So just smile, and where you see that tiny bit of colour, you just want to pop some there. This is dependent on how much of a glow you want on the day. I think it's beautiful that if you can see it in your pictures, and if you can sort of see it when you know you're outside taking pictures and everything, I think it's beautiful. But if you don't feel comfortable wearing too much, then just obviously tone it down a tiny bit. Is spray my Revolution Matte Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray, and then just press over with my beauty blender. Then when it's nearly dry, just tap over your highlight so it's all blended out, because the last thing you want is sort of that line of highlight. You just sort of want like a glow. Now the reason why I haven't done my mascara yet is because I want to do my lower lashes, and I wanted to make sure I did that, because otherwise my mascara doesn't really sit right once I've done my setting spray. So I'm going to dip back into my James Charles palette and just going to take like a packing brush here, take a couple of the browner shades, and then just really tightly go underneath my lash line. Not going all the way across, just sort of 3/4, and then just joining that up with your shadow at the end. So now it looks a little bit more tied together. I'm going to be going in with my mascara, but first I'm going to be curling my lashes. I would normally go in with lashes as well, like stick-on lashes. I don't actually have any today, so I'm just going to be doing some mascara, and then obviously you can always add false lashes to it as well. I'm just using the Smashbox Super Fanned Out Mascara. It's a really good mascara actually, but it's definitely not waterproof, so I probably wouldn't recommend it for your wedding day. I just don't have another one open at the moment. Okay, and now everything is complete. All you need to do is just add your lipstick, lip gloss, whatever you feel comfortable in. I probably recommend just like a lipstick, so it doesn't sort of go crusty throughout the day, but at the same time it's not going to stick to your hair or anything if you've got gloss on. So maybe go for like a satin kind of lipstick if that suits you. I've got two that are my favourite. So I've got the Spice matte lipstick and the Kiss matte lipstick in Anastasia Beverly Hills lipsticks. I'm probably going to go for the lighter one, which is Kiss, and this is sort of just my everyday nude shade, and I feel like it just looked beautiful with the eye makeup as well. You can always add a lip liner as well if you feel that you need to, but I sort of feel like my lipstick stays on quite well just on its own, so yeah. I might add just a little bit of that darker one, just sort of more on the outer side. And that is the final makeup complete. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you do sort of similar to this on your wedding day, what kind of makeup you did on your wedding day, if you've already had it. I'd love to know. Please make sure that you watch the rest of my videos by subscribing. That would be really helpful, and I will see you in my next video.